What's up, YouTube land? Ziino Gaming here, and welcome to episode number 28 of my team career mode here for Ziino Racing. And today, for episode number 28, we're going to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. And we are currently in a poor run of form. We've retired from our last 3 Grand Prix, and we need to turn things around here today in Spain. And this is a good venue for myself. Not the most my most favourite track to drive, but this track has suited me on this year's game for whatever reason, so I think we could have a really strong result around this circuit and at least score some points. We haven't really scored too many points this year, only the 4 as a team, and I scored them all, I believe, in Bahrain with an 8th place finish, so definitely need to get back on track and scoring the points here today. There's just a quick look at our current funds, how they are trending upwards and downwards as you got to spend money to make money in Formula 1. So here's also just a quick look at the development race as it stands. We're right in the thick of things with McLaren, Ferrari, Renault are kind of up there as well. So we're now going to move here into qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix, and Q3 is going to be a tough ask. I think Q2 is still where the car is just about. So here we go for our first flying lap in Q1, and that's not the way you want to end the lap. A little bit of wheel spin coming out of the chicane, and we come across the line there, and it was a decent opening lap. Second lap, same set of tyres after a cool down lap, and we're currently sitting in 9th place, and we're going to do a lap that jumps us back ahead of Hubert, who actually did a better lap on the first time round than us. But here's the end of Q1. We're currently sitting 15th, and we're improving the lap by a few tenths here. Coming around the last corner now to come across the line, and we're going to actually stay in 15th place, improve the lap time, but just don't improve position there. But that's enough to get us through to Q1 here today, Q2, sorry, here today, with Bottas fastest in that session. And we do enough to get through to Q2, so a good start to qualifying here today, just to, get both cars into Q2 as well, not just myself, also Antoine getting through to Q2, so that's a positive start here. So just waiting to scroll down the results, as we should any second. And here we go, and now, knocked out in Q1 is Kevin Magnussen, George Russell, Kimi Räikkönen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and the 2 Williams of Nick de Vries and Nicholas Latifi. So both Haas's, both Alfa Romeos, and both Williams knocked out in Q1. As now we'll move here into Q2, and here's the end of our first flying lap in Q2. And I'm going to come across the line. We've got Hubert following us, and we managed to not beat our teammate here on our first flying lap, but now 16th place. So looks like me and Antoine are battling for 15th here today. We're going to now show our full lap here from the end of our Q2 session as we come across the line to start the lap, coming into turn 1, looking to brake where the little escape road is, right there, back down the 4th gear, inside, using the curbs here through 1 and 2 very nicely, not spinning the car on that second corner curve, flat through turn 3, heading to turn 4, looking for the braking under the bridge, down the 4th gear, long right-hander here, now heading into turn number 5, and this is a tough corner to lock up the front left tyre, back down the 3rd gear, on the throttle nicely now, and looking to sweep through 7 and 8 here, sorry, and now into turn 9. This is a fantastic corner, just a slight lift, that's all it is here in qualifying for our car, as we're now going to come into turn 10, braking the 100 metre zone, back down to 3rd gear, tight, hairpin, short shift to 4th, 5th gear, and now back down the 3rd here for this long sweeping right hander, trying to get on the power as quickly as possible and smoothly. And now this is the most frustrating part of the track, this little chicane here, hate it, but trying to be smooth on the throttle and get the power down for the run to the finish line, flat through the last corner as we come across the line, and it's going to be 15th place for us here today. As I said, we'll probably just despite the performance graphs, me and Antoine just couldn't compete with the cars above around this track, and it's going to be 15th place for us here today. being outqualified by the likes of Gasly and stuff. But also knocked out, is Norris, Stroll, Gasly, Ocon and me and Hubert. Anyway, let's give it to David Croft for the race introduction.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Renault. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Alexander Albon, and Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Vettel, and Daniel Kvyat, Norris, Stroll, Pierre Gasly, and Ocon. The captain, Hubert, Kevin Magnussen, and George Russell, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, De Vries, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So, welcome here today, guys, to the Spanish Grand Prix, and it's going to be a simple one-stop strategy, no messing about. Start from the medium tyre, go to the hard. Soft tyres don't last too long around here. For a 33-lap race, they're not going to make more than 7-8 laps, so no use using those today. Get a quick one-stop. Pit lane time's pretty long here, so much faster. It's hard to overtake around here, so just easier to do a one-stop strategy, as they would do in real life. So that's the goal here today, one-stop strategy. And as we now get ready for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix, we got 15th on the grid here, 22 cars. And we'll see if we can get back on form here today for Ziino Racing. And maybe the number 2 car can score its first points as well here today. 5 red lights come on for the Spanish Grand Prix. And it's go here in Spain. And wow, a decent start here. Not so much in the first phase. We're getting a decent run in the second stage, but actually Hubert's coming back alongside us here. We're going to go around the outside of a few cars there. The lane was wide open down the outside, and we took it, and we move immediately into 12th place. Got the McLaren that's Norris on our inside, and we're going to try and drive around the outside of him at turn 3. Just not able to do it. Don't have enough grip or downforce to do so. And now Stroll's having a look down in, so we're going to try and go back around the outside of Norris here in turn 4. He loses the car mid-corner. Now that allows Stroll to go down our inside, but we're going to go back down the inside into turn 5 here. And we're going to just squeeze Stroll out on the exit of the corner, and we regain 13th place here as we now have Norris on mediums. Stroll is on mediums. You've got the Haas of Magnussen, he's on mediums. You've got Kvyat ahead on soft, so this is going to be interesting how the guys who qualified outside the top 10 combat this. Even though Kvyat qualified outside the top 10, he decided to go with the soft tyre as we now file around the 3rd sector. And it's going to be interesting to see how our pace stacks up in the race compared to these guys today. Obviously, we couldn't match them in qualifying, and we don't want to be languishing in the midfield all day long. We want to be fighting for those points, finishing positions, as we now latch onto a bit of ERS here. We turn it off here. We quickly turn it back on. I shouldn't have turned it off. That delayed our momentum a little bit. We had a really good run on Lando Norris. He's defending to the inside as he comes back to the middle of the track for the first corner, but we really could have had a go there. Maybe if I didn't turn off the ERS there. That's is what it is. We're now here middle up to still following Norris. As we come through 7 and 8, we lose the back end horrendously through 7 quarter. Almost spun it again, and now Stroll's going to come around our outside through turn 9. Great move from Lance Stroll around the outside. We're going to jump straight in his slipstream, but now we're under pressure from Magnussen. We defend the inside here, and we managed to just about do it as we run over the bollard there. But now also, if you look on the left side of the track here, there's the racing point. Could you believe it? Sergio Perez out of this Grand Prix. Bad luck for the Mexican. He qualified really well here today, and no points today. It's going to be for Sergio. As we now move to lap 7, we're just been behind Norris, Stroll, with Magnussen on our tail, and Ocon as well, who's gotten past Magnussen, sorry. A few cars in the pit lane there, we moved up a few positions, but haven't been able to really do much. We've just been staying in this DRS zone with Stroll, sorry. We don't seem to be getting DRS in the middle part of the lap. We seem to be really strong in sector 3 and closing enough to gain the DRS for the main straight. And Stroll hasn't really been able to get past Norris either, so it just shows how difficult it is to pass and overtake around here in Spain. As we come through turn 5 though, jump on the throttle a little bit early, dip a wheel into the grass, and that cost us about a second worth of time, I believe. Maybe a little bit less, but yeah, about a second's worth of time. You can see as we come around next lap, we no longer have DRS. Ocon is now a little bit close to us, and once we lost the DRS here, you see now it's lap 10, 2 laps later. See how much time Norris and Stroll have already pulled out on us, so our pace maybe isn't as strong as we would have liked here today, and we just can't keep up with Stroll and Norris. But now Valtteri Bottas is out of this Grand Prix. Would you believe it? That's another Mercedes engine blowing up, and this time it's for the Works Mercedes team, so that's a bit of a concern for us, as we now have a safety car come out, and we're going to change strategy immediately here. We're going to jump on the hard tyres to go to the end of the race. I know they can go to the end of the race from here, but also I think we're pitting lap 13 or something. It's not that bad. By the time the safety car comes in, the tyres will obviously go to the end of the race. In league racing, when you start on the soft tyres, we come in for about lap 8, 9 for the hard tyre, so it's fine as we now chuck it on here, and we'll hope to show some really, really good pace. And everyone else has jumped on either a medium or a soft, so we're the only one on the hard tyre. We're going to come out in 7th place though, so this safety car has really helped us get ahead of Albon and the Ferraris and Sainz and stuff like that, as we had a benefit from the safety car. But here, lap 12 now, end of lap 12, start of lap 13, safety car coming in. We've got Stroll, Ricciardo ahead, you got Vettel ahead, you got Hamilton, Verstappen, and we almost spin the car through the last corner, just trying to get up these hard tyres, not up to temperature yet and not in the zone, and now we're really under pressure from Ocon. We're having to deploy all our ERS to avoid being overtaken. We squeezed him a little bit of contact there. That was a little bit dangerous on my part, but we managed to just about stay ahead of Esteban Ocon, and that could have been really dicey, as Ocon got it very close to us through turn 3 and lost probably a little bit of downforce and lost the car a little bit mid-corner. As now we are on lap 17, 5 laps here ahead, and cars have started to come into the pit lane. As you see, Ocon peels off to the pits, Stroll peels off, Gasly peels off, so our teammate also peels off, Hubert. And now lap 19 here, we've got that's one of the Ferraris. I think that's Vettel peeling off into the pit lane. Yes, it is. Hamilton's in, Norris is in, and now we're into 3rd place here with Ricciardo and Verstappen just ahead. As now, here we go. Leclerc now peels off as well into the pit lane. You can see Hamilton's stuck behind. I can't quite tell who it is on the screen, but he's stuck behind somebody there. He hasn't been able to get past yet. Verstappen and Ricciardo now pit. So now we are in the lead of this Grand Prix, and we'll see where Max Verstappen, can he get ahead of Lewis Hamilton here? Hamilton's going to be ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and he's now got clear track ahead of him. But no, he cannot get ahead of Max Verstappen. It looks like Verstappen's in pit exit, and he's now on the track. And Max Verstappen has come out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So we have 11 laps to go, and we got the lead. Now 8 laps to go, and Verstappen scored us very quickly. 3 laps it took him. Hamilton's coming as well, and our tyres are starting to die a little bit. But we've also got a wearing engine here in our 6th Grand Prix, so we'll have to manage that. But now it's lap 30, and we've been able to defend really well. We've been using our ERS on the main straight, and this is the closest that Max Verstappen has probably been. I've been really critical of getting a really good exit out of the chicane and hammering the ERS, and you can see that just using it all down the straight and just defending, using it wisely to defend from Max Verstappen. But you can see he's got so much better tyre grip. He gets an unbelievable run here through turn 3. I was flat through turn 3, and he's just got so much more speed. We have to cover it going into turn 4. That was very close to a Hamilton-Rosberg situation there, and that actually happened to us, I believe, last year, crashing in that corner. But we managed to survive, as we now got one and a bit laps to go here in this Grand Prix. Verstappen still hasn't been able to get past. We've been defending it with all our heart here and energy. You can see that Norris and Ricciardo are 4th and 5th. They've closed up right on us in the final few laps that are defending, and just our lack of pace at this point of the Grand Prix. And we're using all the track here to gain the best exit possible. But we got a fantastic exit, and Verstappen's under pressure from Lewis Hamilton now. Believe it or not, he's nowhere near us, and he's struggling to defend from Hamilton here. He's going to have to defend the inside. Hamilton goes to the outside. Can Lewis Hamilton take second place away from Max Verstappen? He's going to be deeper on the brakes, the ideal line, and Lewis Hamilton has overtaken Max Verstappen for second place. That's critical for Hamilton's championship, just to gain any sort of points here today, even if it's not going to be the full maximum 25. We now have two sectors left in this Grand Prix, and we will be a first-time winner. And we just got one more straight really to deal with, the run to turn 10, and we got a decent little gap back to Hamilton behind. We're using all our ERS now on this lap, and we're going to use it once again here, being smooth on the throttle out of turn 7 and 8, making sure not to do what we did in the second lap of this Grand Prix through turn 9. And now use the ERS once again all the way to turn 10. Hamilton isn't close enough as we brake, and now we can be very conservative, be very smooth and gentle in this last sector. There is no passing opportunities here for Lewis Hamilton or anyone else behind us, as we're going to come through the final few corners. And now this is the critical one. Make sure we just get a good enough exit here and don't spin up the rear wheels. Be smooth, early gear shift into 4th, full throttle now, open the ERS, and we're going to come around the last corner, cross the line to win our very first Grand Prix in my team for Ziino Racing. Ziino Racing's first win, Jack Ziino's first win. What a day for the team. What a day.
They've done it then. A spectacular victory here in Spain and a massive confidence boost going into the next race. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to the captain. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Wow. We have won the Spanish Grand Prix. I can't believe it's still just obviously won the race off strategy, but even though I thought we were going to have a really good result after I knew everything, how it shook out after lap 22. But when I thought Verstappen and Hamilton were going to come up behind us and pass us easily, but just using all the ERS from on the main straight and on the other DRS zone really helped us to stay ahead. And what a win. I mean, first time after the rotten luck we've had, we've gained all the points back, maybe that we potentially lost with the full maximum 25 here today. Hubert only 17th place for himself today, so another great result for him. But we now improve a lot in the driver's standings. We jump up massively from 4 points to 29 points, as Verstappen still has a really big lead in the championship. Hamilton finally moves up into second place to become a real challenger. We don't move up in the constructors' standings, but we move a lot closer to the rest of the pack ahead. So that's a fantastic result for the team today. What a weekend in Spain. And now we lose the rivalry here to Lando Norris, but that's fine. We won for that weekend or that race day. Now the team at level 16 acclaim. Level 13 for myself. We got a good influx of cash here from hitting all the goals, and we're going to immediately try and upgrade on the aero. We know we got Monaco coming up. This isn't going to quite get there for Monaco, I don't think. But if it did, it would be lovely. But the Straits of Monaco, it is for the next race, and I'm looking forward to it. Kind of, I mean, it's always been a track where I've just struggled to keep clean and keep my front wing out of harm's way. So, yeah, it's going to be a challenge, that's for sure. As we now are going to simulate all the events that I've scheduled and stuff for the up until the next race. We're going to have a few development bits come in for looks like for Monaco. Bit frustrating that the engine component has failed, but the chassis component was developed, which is more important for Monaco. We'll get this redeveloped for hopefully Baku, at least, and yeah, a bit annoying that the front wing, the engine doesn't come. Considering we've put the resources in to make sure these things don't fail. But unfortunately, it fails on us. We have to redevelop that. That's a little bit frustrating because it's more on the points, not so much not getting it for Monaco. Monaco, not too important on engine power. So anyway, that's been today's episode, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. And please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for plenty more F1 2020 My Career Mode. Next race at the Monaco Grand Prix. Not sure where it's going to be uploaded, but hopefully in the next few days or week or so. So anyway, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you till the next video for the Monaco Grand Prix. Till then, goodbye.